Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on this webinar with Mace. So Mace is an international consultancy and construction company. They have worked with Gradcracker for 7 years, and today we're going to be hearing from the degree apprentices and graduates about their experiences with the company so far, as well as hearing from Kira in the HR team, all about their recruitment processes, who they are as a company, and some of their key initiatives that you might be working on if you decide to apply to their opportunities. So right now, Mace is recruiting for their degree apprenticeships, placements, and graduate roles. On their company hub, you can get a fantastic insight into their roles and their business. So make sure you head on there after this webinar, apply, follow, and find out even more about them. So firstly, we're going to meet Kira. Hi, Kira. Can you tell all the audience all about you and your role at Mace?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Carla. So my role at Mace is I do the recruitment for the graduate and the placement programs that we offer.
Yeah.
So that's any industrial placements and some placements that we might have, and then our graduate development program, as well as leading on any insight programs and any careers in construction programs for undergrads and school leavers as well.
Perfect. You've got a very, very busy role. And tell us a little bit more about Mace in general. So what do you do?
Yeah, so pretty much at Mace, we're global experts in shaping the built environment, leading the way to a more connected, resilient and sustainable world. From development and consultancy to construction, we connect expertise across the entire property life cycle to help our clients, people, communities and society achieve more than they believe is possible. The main driving force behind our success is our people who, with their collective expertise, push us to think differently and bravely lead the way. And we really rely a lot on our graduates and apprentices for that as well.
Yeah.
Our culture respects equality, values diversity, and encourages individuality, accepting and appreciating all views and beliefs, and providing an environment for ideas to come alive. Together, we will always find a way to unleash potential within every place, project and person, inspiring the stories that shape our lives and change our world, because the ambitions that we chase today will build the world that we live in tomorrow.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Kira. And sustainability is something high on the agenda at Mace, as it is with a lot of our employers. And I know, Bavisha, you're going to talk in detail about sustainability a little bit later on. But from a business point of view, Kira, what are you doing on sustainability? What would you like to tell the audience about?
Yeah, so at the end of 2022, we announced that we had secured a pipeline of work that would see us exceed our target by 2026 around being a little bit more carbon neutral. So having seen the opportunities that exist and being never content with a target being met, we will always find a way to go further.
Yeah.
So Mace is driving change across our industry through buildings and infrastructure, not just to achieve our targets, but ultimately to just do the right thing for the planet. Accelerating the built environment's response to the climate emergency through innovation, knowledge sharing and partnerships. Our responsible business is a really huge part of Mace, and they kind of touch on every single part of the company. And our responsible business is just so much more than carbon reduction. It's creating livable communities with education, training and employment opportunities, investing in natural solutions to protect, restore and enhance natural habitats. We know this can't wait, so we need to elevate biodiversity and social value alongside carbon.
Yeah.
We are also on a journey to reduce our own carbon footprint. So while at the same time we're influencing the global projects and programs that we're delivering for our clients. So I know one of the really big things that our business leads focus on when thinking about working with new clients is asking them what they're doing to focus on their carbon reduction. And it has a really big impact on if we kind of work with them or not. And I know it's something that's kind of been discussed about this week, especially like in the business. So it's nice to know that everyone from like top to bottom is always keeping that at the forefront. So we know we have the platform to have an impact 1,000 times greater than our own footprint. So we'll always help our clients reduce their carbon emissions as well. So our main target by 2026, we're committed to having a range of projects that once delivered will save our clients around 10 million tonnes of carbon.
Wow. Okay. So you're not just thinking about Mace as a company, you're thinking about other companies that you work with and sharing best practices, something like, and things like that.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kira. So now just to talk about the opportunities that you have got open and live on your hub at the moment.
Yeah.
So Mace has a degree apprenticeship in civil engineering. So the deadline of that is the 31st of December, start date September 2024. So they've currently got 4 placements as well, which are all 12 months long, again with a start date of June 2024. These are primarily based in project management. Locations cover Dublin, Warrington and Bristol, and the areas of the business are sustainability and consultancy. So if you do want to be part of something, like Kira just mentioned, on sustainability, that might be the opportunity that you apply for. And finally, they've got 17 graduate roles currently live on Gradcracker, number of locations across the UK and Ireland, including product controls, cost consultancy, building surveying, quantity surveying, commercial management, and lots more. I'm not going to go through them all because it'll take an hour. So again, start date September 2024, but closing date, so deadline at the end of this year, the 31st of December. Also remember that one role will be open to multiple STEM students, so there really is an opportunity for everybody. Kira, I've just mentioned a lot of words there, so things like, you know, commercial management, cost consultancy, product controls. What does that actually mean to the students?
So essentially, your cost consultancy and your commercial management are your quantity surveying roles. They just kind of depend where you're sat facing within the business. So some people within the consultancy side of the business will hire a cost consultant, and some will hire commercial managers, but then you'll also get commercial managers that mainly exist within the construct engine of our business. But essentially it's just a quantity surveyor. It just depends on the projects that you want to work on and how you work with the team. But there is an in-depth overview on the job adverts that are live on Gradcracker. Then you've also got project controls. So project controls is fairly similar to project management, but I think it focuses a little bit more on like the risk and the data side of it. So there is a little bit more of a focus of that, rather than project management can be, I don't want to use the word generic, but it has a wider overview, and there's maybe not, you don't need to have a specialist background to go into it, that kind of thing. You can pretty much come from any degree background to work in project management.
Perfect. So open to all STEM disciplines. And thinking about the students who are applying, Kira, can they apply to more than one opportunity, or is it just the one?
It is just the one opportunity. So if there is one that you have applied to, and then, for example, it's no longer available, you can always just go back on to Gradcracker, see what is still available, and then you can just swap to that one instead. You can either withdraw an application and then resubmit to a different role, or you can just email us directly and we'll swap your application over. So it's not like, oh, the role's been filled, you can no longer move through our process at all. If the role's been filled, you'll have an opportunity to find something else if we are still looking for it.
Perfect, no problem at all. Thank you very much, Kira. So yeah, make sure after this webinar you get your applications in, because it is soon going to be the 31st of December, just around the corner. Thank you, Kira. And what we're going to do now is move on and meet the rest of the panel. So Joseph, I am starting with you. So where did you go to university? What did you study? And how long have you been at Mace?
Yeah, so I went to uni in Newcastle. I went to Northumbria to study construction engineering management. And I graduated like last year, and I've just started Mace in September 23.
Perfect. Enjoying your time so far?
Yeah, it's good.
Is a character, Joseph. We're really excited to get to know you a little bit more. So thanks, Joseph. And Bhavisha, tell me a little bit more about you. So where did you go to university and what did you study?
So I went to the University of Nottingham. I did a master's in civil engineering. And yeah, same as Joseph, I just started it in September and it's been great so far.
Perfect. Thanks, Bhavisha. Natalie?
Hi everyone, I also went to the University of Nottingham. I did human geography and I started last year, so I'm in my second year on the grad scheme.
Fantastic. So a few more projects, a bit more experience than the other two. And so we'll find out more about Natalie a little bit later on. And Joy, you're a little bit different. So you're currently on a degree apprenticeship. And so what is your degree apprenticeship in, and which university are you affiliated with?
Hi, so I'm doing a project management apprenticeship. And it's level 6, so I'm working towards a degree in construction management, and that's with the University College of Estate Management. And my apprenticeship is for 6 years. Sorry, 5 years.
5 years. And how long have you been at Mace so far?
I just started in September.
Just started in September. Perfect. Thank you very much. Jess, hand over to you to talk about their roles.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carla. Joseph, I'm going to come back to you first. So this is where you can now talk in depth about your role and tell everyone what you've been up to over the last couple of months.
Oh, so I'm a construction manager. So basically what my job is just like look after the lads on site, make sure they're all right, and also make sure the work they're doing is okay. It's that's sort of how I spend my day. As well as just sitting in meetings, understanding the project, working out what's going on. Like, because if people need an update on, say, like, where's the project up to, they have to ask me to sort of understand what we're doing. Yes, that's my role at the moment.
So it's quite a lot of responsibility quite early on. So you started in September, and to be responsible for people, to be reporting in on projects. You know, how have you found that transition, and you know, how are you finding the responsibility?
Yeah, I enjoy it, to be fair. So I asked when I came in, I said, you know, I'm happy to take responsibility. I've also like I've found things myself where I've wanted to take responsibility for it and asked if I could, and he said, yeah, crack on and like help me out as much as possible with that.
Yeah.
So like whatever I've asked, you know, I'm interested in learning about this, I'd like to do this. You just say, yeah, crack on, mate, we'll help you with it.
That's really, really good. So in terms of the team then that you look after, how many people are in your team, and what kind of project are you working on at the moment?
So to be fair, I was going to say, so it's only small at the moment. So at the moment, there's about 10 people in my team. And
That's a lot.
Oh, that's just in the office, and then on site we've got about 10 lads on site as well. So we're in pre-contract at the moment. So we're just getting the building ready. What we're going to be doing is it's a commercial office in London. We're demolishing it and building a new one basically. So it's called a refurbishment, but it's a bit different to like refurbishing your house. You know what I mean? It's like it's the whole thing's going, a new building's going in basically. It's called the cut and carve. But that's what we're going to be doing. So we've got about 10 lads on site now, just getting it ready. So we had a few shops. So we had like a Boots there. There was a Pret, like in London, obviously there was a Pret. Like a Cards Galore, a Cafe Nero. So what we've been doing is we've got them shops now. So we've been demolishing them, setting up what's called the welfare. So when the work does start, we've got, you know, toilets, changing rooms, kitchens. That's what we've been setting up at the moment. And then come March time when the project starts, then we'll have a few more lads in. So I think at the peak's going to be about 400.
Wow. Oh, wow, okay. A lot of people. And you'll then be you look after all those 400 people, will you?
I don't know if they'll trust me with that. No, so we'll have a few more construction managers in. So at the moment, only just me and one other guy. But when the project comes, we'll have like 4 or 5, and say it's like a 15-floor building. We might all take like 3 floors each and just look after them sections, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, of course. So in terms of then you being on site, by the sounds of it, you need to be available, you need to be flexible in terms of where you're working, which day and when, and kind of organising your time. How do you manage that?
Yeah, so I write it down, to be fair. But yeah, you've just got to, because they like with the lads anyway. Like for me, you've got to sort of be telling them what to do sometimes. So it's just about being nice to them, asking them questions where you can't help them. So then if they come to you and ask for help, so then if you ask them to do something, they don't really mind. Do you know what I mean? It's just about building a relationship with them, really. And to be fair, because it's pre-contract, a lot of what we're doing is just looking through documents and stuff, making sure the contracts are right, making sure all the risk assessments are there. So I've sort of got that time to go over and just speak to them.
Yeah, definitely. And by the sounds of it, a key part of your role, you know, 2 really important skills that you're learning already is communication and teamwork. Like you've said already, it's learning to get people on side, you know, be able to manage a team, be able to take control, and to say, you know, you only started in September and it's early December. That's, you know, really, really great skill to have. And by the sounds of it, you're going to need, you know, a lot to manage the project correctly.
Yeah, it's both sides, to be fair. So it's teamwork and like encouraging a team and leading a team, then also like working for, because like the people in Mace, they're pretty clued up, so you can get a lot of information from them. So for me, you know, asking loads of questions, learning more about their roles, and also being, you know, I'm the new one, you know, like you get given all sorts of different jobs, and you've got to just sort of crack on with it. So it's interesting from both sides, like developing your leadership skills, but also like working for somebody in a more professional environment. Because
Absolutely.
like, as a student, you work in bars, you do this, you do that, but it's not really the same as work. Like I really like my line manager. I think he's great, and just being able to learn from them like every day is so good, and like being able to learn like the importance of just like listening in a work setting and like watching and almost copying and replicating what they're doing
Yeah.
is good as well. So it's teamwork from both sides, really.
Absolutely. I know you did say that it is slightly different, but it's something we actually put, and this is to the audience that's listening. And when you received our newsletter this week, it's something that me and Morgan and my boss Sean spoke about was, that those transferable skills. And when you are applying to these opportunities, mention that you've, got part-time experience in a bar or retail or hospitality, because those transferable skills look fantastic on your CV. Kira, you're nodding, which is a good sign, but that's, I'm guessing, something you like to see in a good application is those kind of previous experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main things that we are looking for is that it kind of comes down to like our values and behaviors. We're looking for collaborators, we're looking for champions, people who can sit there and demonstrate how they are providing, like doing equal opportunities, that kind of thing. And appreciating like different cultures in the workplace, all stuff like that. Like it is being curious, asking questions. I think that's probably like one of the biggest ones that you will hear in Mace is, are you curious? Are you asking questions? Are you finding out what the next thing is? And it's down to just the smallest things, like why is that happening? What's the reason for this? And even that, just like that spark of curiosity will just make such a difference. So even thinking, oh, who are Mace? I want to find a bit more about Mace. You've already kind of got that curiosity inside you. So things like that really are what we're looking for. We're not really looking for someone who's got 4 years work experience in construction management, because it's a development program and you're here to learn. We want people who are keen to learn and build those relationships, that kind of thing.
I was going to say, I was going to say about that, because I actually spoke to my manager and I said, like, how am I getting on? I don't really know, like, because you get told how you're doing, but I sat down and I said, I just want to talk about like how you think I'm getting on. And he said to me, he just said to me, listen, mate, like for 2 years, all we want you to do is just be a sponge, like just listen to what we're doing. And I think that like demonstrates that well. So, because he literally just said, to be honest, yeah, you're doing well, but the main thing we want you to do for 2 years is just to learn as much as possible from us while you're here.
Yeah,
that's really good leadership as well, that they've got they're here to help and ultimately they just want you to learn, which is brilliant. Really good, Joseph, so thank you so much. Bhavisha, I'm going to come to you next. Similar question, if you could tell us a bit more about your role.
Yeah, so I'm working in sustainability, so I'm within the responsible business department. So we kind of sit across all of the projects, across everything, but also have a lot of corporate commitments we have to work towards as well. So yeah, it's either consulting, construct, like there's a whole range of different things that we do.
Absolutely. So sustainability, it's a word which, it's getting talked obviously a lot about the moment. A lot of employers are talking about it at their Cala within their company hubs, saying to students, if you are passionate, you're interested in that, let that be a driver when you come to put an application together. Was that a driver for you? Is this why you wanted to work for Mace? Is it always been a passion for you, sustainability?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went into, obviously I said I did civil engineering at uni, but I think I've lent more towards that sort of making that difference. And I think that's why I went into this. And yeah, it's one of those where in Mace we've got the opportunity to make big changes. We've got big projects where those differences are gonna like make a big change. So yeah, it was a big driver for me applying for it.
Absolutely. So what's your experience then been like so far? So from September to now, tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah, whole range of things. I think, yeah, it depends on the projects. There's quite a few of us in sustainability that all join together. So we do kind of get to see there's different things going on. So I've been working, like, for example, like we'll work alongside architects, project managers to go, okay, look, you can make this more sustainable. And it's not so much in the like environmentally friendly sense. There's also like, you've got to think about the social value that we're adding. So we do a lot of volunteering work. Then also like biodiversity is quite a new thing. So looking at the environment in terms of like animals and different plants and things like that, and just keeping that up. But yeah, the other main thing that I didn't almost expect when I came into it, but I've actually quite enjoyed, is the corporate commitments. So for Mace itself, we are doing a lot for like, okay, we have to do certain reports to go, okay, look, we're predicting how climate change is going to affect our company in the long term, as well as like getting those certifications, like how can we change our company, change our training to make it more like sustainable across everything, not in just the projects that we're doing.
Yeah. And what an exciting time to be doing it, because, you know, for a lot of, you know, companies within this sector, it's new territory, isn't it? You know, you've got to get creative, you've got to start making the change. So for you, Bhavisha, do you feel as though, not that you would anywhere, you know, like Joseph mentioned, not feel like at a disadvantage because you don't know it, but feel as though you can really jump into projects and you think, actually, I can take lead on this because this is something completely even new for the business?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think I'm a lot more, I don't know if I'm a bit different to Joe, so I'm a lot more like, I'll come into something, I like to observe for a while, and then I'll start to go, okay, yeah, I think I can, and I'll jump up for an opportunity and I'll go, oh yeah, you know what, actually, do you mind if I just take that meeting by myself? And those opportunities do start to just pick up. But for the first few months, I would say I've been trying to take in a lot, try and make sure I understand things before I start jumping into it. And the good thing is nobody expects you to know everything as a graduate. Like that, everyone is very like, no, don't worry. Like I wouldn't expect you to be able to like rattle off all this stuff. So yeah, no, it's been really good. It's very like supportive learning environment for that kind of thing. But yeah, the things do kind of crop up where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm able to, I know a lot more than I do, even though it's only been 3 months. Yeah. So like my manager was off sick this week and I had to like take lead on quite a few of our calls together, and it was really weird. I was like, wait, I know what I'm talking about. This is so strange.
You can do it. Absolutely. And do you know what? You took my carrot there. I really was hoping you were going to say that. You know, it's okay to be slightly different. You know, Kira's saying we want you to ask, but it's all right to get that confidence first, then put yourselves in those situations, and you've got that network around you to do it. And it seems as though they're not going to, you know, the Mace aren't going to let you fall in that sense. They're not going to put you in a situation where then you feel uncomfortable and you can't look after yourself or the team. So really, really good experience already, Bhavisha. So thank you so much for that. Natalie, I'm going to come to you if that's okay. Tell us a bit more about Natalie and what you've been up to. And so is it 2 year now that you've been
second year? Yeah, just over a year.
In your second year, that was it. So yeah, tell us a bit what your role entails and what life's like for you at Mace.
Yeah, so I'm a consultant project manager, and I'm currently working on 2 different projects. So the first one is in the early stages of the project. So we're just working with the client to understand what they want, their requirements, and then working with the design team, so the architect, the electrical, mechanical, and structural engineers to develop the options. And then we've been presenting those options just to see what option the client wants to go ahead with. Then take it into construction. So that's one of the projects. And then the second project is in construction. So it's up in Sheffield. I'm based in London, so I go up there every month. And it's an office refurbishment. So my role on that is client representative. So kind of I see it as the bridge between the contractors and the client. And specifically, I'm change control lead. So managing if there's any variations from the contract scope of work. So getting those costed. Obviously, it's a variation from the contract, so the contractor needs to be paid for that work. So just managing that whole process and then making sure it's delivered on time and to the client.
I can imagine you are super organised. I can imagine you're that kind of individual that's got everything, you know, costing down to a T. Is that something, again, is this, you know, where you're at now within the graduate program? Is this where you kind of expected to be? Is this kind of how you wanted to take the program and wanted to take your career? Or have you kind of landed into this role unexpectedly?
It was a bit unexpected. I applied for a different job and got offered project management, but I think just go into everything really open-minded, say yes to opportunities, and just make the most of the opportunities that come your way. So
absolutely, you're obviously enjoying it.
I am, yeah.
That's very good. So how long's the graduate program? When do you finish?
So it's 2 years.
2 years.
So it starts in September, and then Kira, correct me if I'm wrong, but does it finish in the summer? Like that follows the academic year?
It's quite similar to like an academic year, like when you'd finish the summer holidays is kind of when you'd finish the graduate program, and you kind of have like an end of program celebration.
Oh, exciting. So it'll be around before you know it. Great stuff. Thank you very much, Natalie. And Joe, I'm going to come, Joy, it said Joe, sorry. Joy, I'm going to come to you. Yeah, you've got a bit of a different experience. So tell us, you know, why Mace, why degree apprenticeship, and what life is like for you so far on the program.
Yeah, well, after sixth form, so I finished sixth form this September, or this summer, and I knew I didn't want to go to uni full time, or at least I knew that, because I originally applied to do computer science at uni, but I ended up realizing I don't enjoy computer science as much as I thought I did. So, but then I had the opportunity to do a work experience, and through that I realized that I enjoy project management and like organizing and that sort of stuff. So I started searching for project management apprenticeships, and then I found Mace, and I continued with applying with Mace, and here I am now.
You love it.
Yeah.
So you're glad you didn't do computer science then?
Oh
You
yeah,
made the
without
right
a doubt.
decision. So tell us a bit then how, Joy, it works for you. So what's kind of a typical week like? When do you go to university? How do you split your time? How does it all work?
Yeah, well, I'd say every week is very different, but so I have Mondays off, and that's like my study day, because all my university work is online, so I can either do that at home or I can come into the office and do it. And then Tuesday to Friday I'll be in the office, and I work on several different projects. My role is a project assistant, but yes, I work on several different projects. So one project is in Cardiff. They're building a secondary school, and it's the largest school project in Welsh history. So I help with some of like the administration, and I attend some of the meetings on that. And also I'm part of the social value team in our office, and we're working towards arranging some volunteering projects with some primary schools in Wales as well. And I'm quite heavily involved with that, like with communicating with the head teachers and like building up scopes of like the outdoor works that we'll do with the schools. And I'm also working on some projects in Cornwall. So there's a pound stretcher that's being renovated, and there's a traveller site, and recently got another project which I'm not too sure what it involves, but it's called Spaceport, so it sounds interesting. But
sounds impressive.
Anything to do with spaceport?
I hope so. I really hope so.
So
yeah.
Tell us a bit then about obviously like the team. So how does it work? Are you, because you've all these projects on, are you working with the same team? Do you have like a line manager? How's it working for you during this role?
So yeah, so I have a line manager, and she's working on the project in Cardiff, so I work with her on that. But the projects on Cornwall are my main projects, and the project manager who's working on that, he's not in the office that I'm in, but we have calls together and we communicate on emails. Hopefully I'll meet him in person one day, but yeah, and then but I tend to work with a variety of different people, which is one thing I really like, and I get to meet different people and learn from others as well. Yeah, it's really great.
And for you, Joy, how have you found that transition from sixth form? Do you say sixth form or college you went to?
Yeah, sixth form.
Sixth form. From that to Mace, how have you found it? You know, again, you've a lot of soft skills that you've got already, you know, communicating, emailing, you know, networking with other members of the team. And, you know, I'm assuming they just finished sixth form, you know, very early in your career, very young, to have all this responsibility. It's amazing. And you obviously taken it well within your stride. So well done. But how do you find it?
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't an easy jump. But I definitely say the skills that I had learned from a part-time job that I'd taken on in sixth form definitely helped. So things like, we were just talking about this earlier. So things like communication skills, team working, like all of that definitely helped now. And it's helped, and having this role now with Mace has just helped me to elevate those skills. And yeah, because I never would have expected that I'd be working in the construction industry after A levels. But yeah, I'm just really glad that I had this opportunity, and even though it was a jump, it was needed, I think,
Yeah.
for my
well
own
done
self-development as well. Yeah.
Well done you. Because sometimes you can fall into that world of university, can't you? And almost do it because you feel like you should, and then kind of just stall for a few years and then make the decision. But to make that decision so early, to jump, and it's really going to pay off in the long run. So ultimately, well done to you, Joy.
Thank you.
Okay, Joseph, I'm going to come back to you. So we talked a bit about your role so far, but if you could just tell us a bit about, obviously I know you've only been there since September, but kind of how the program is going to be structured for you, how the rotations, how the project's going to work, and even potentially about your favourite project that you've worked on so far, if possible.
Yeah, so basically what we do 2 years. Every like few weeks we do like a different learning module, so it can be on all different. So that's like that's like every graduate. So that we do on like self-awareness, emotional intelligence, that sort of stuff, health and safety. So we do that, like that's what everyone does. That's all are we doing. That's what like Bavish will be doing. We'll all be doing. That's the 2 years. But then alongside that, you work towards becoming chartered. So like. So it's in loads of different industries, obviously chartership, but like so you start working towards. So for me personally, like I want to be a chartered construction management. So my company, the body who do that is the CIOB. So I work towards that in my own time.
Okay, yeah.
So that's like my own personal thing, which I sit with my line manager and I go through, and I'm starting to work towards. And that should take about 2 years, to be fair. So sort of by the end, I will have done all my mace training and done my chartership by the end of my 2 years. So then when I finish, hopefully I'll be like a chartered construction manager with all of this training behind me as well.
Perfect. And I think also as well, if you are interested about, being chartered in the future, this is why as well you've got to put yourself in as many situations as you can to gain that experience. So again, it's good that you're doing that.
Yeah, that's all like funded and encouraged by Mace as well. So that's not like off my own bat. That's what they say they're going to do. Yeah, in terms of like favorite projects, to be fair, we've been on a few site visits. So obviously there's not a lot going on yet, but we've been on a few site visits. There's a cool one next to St. Paul's called Newgate Street. It's going to be the new HSBC head office.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what that's going to be. So it's big building right next to St. Paul's. So it's pretty cool, just to go up on the roof and just have a look off.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really how you spend your afternoons, isn't it, Joseph? Making out real busy.
Well, I just went full on one. There's loads going on. So like where we are in London, there's like 4 or 5 sites within like a 5-minute walk. All like quite big commercial offices as well.
Yeah.
So you can go. So say for me, because there's not a lot going on, or I could be like, hang on, the next stage. So like we're going to be doing demolition next. So I'll go and have a look at a demolition job 5 minutes away to understand what's going on. I'll speak to like another grad at that office about what they thought worked well. So then I'm learning that way as well from doing that. So that my favorite project I've been to though is probably that Newgate Street, looking at St. Paul's, I think. Yeah.
Just a couple of things to just add on to what Joe said. I believe there's like a SharePoint space as well. So if someone in Consult is going to one of their projects they're working on, they'll kind of post about it and host a site visit. So people can like opt in to go to them, which is quite nice. So there are so many projects that a lot of us won't see because we're not in it, and you can pop it on this. Oh, I'm planning to do it. I can take 15 people with me. Let me know if you want to join it. This is where it is, and it's like an events portal on a SharePoint that we use. So I think that's quite good. And that's something I think got started up last year, and I think it's a really good way for like everyone to interact. And with the training sessions that they have as well, it can feel easy to feel disconnected where you're based on site or you're based in like the Moorgate office or the Bristol office. So it's quite nice to come together and connect with each other.
Yeah, to be fair, my buddy sorted one out for me as well. So when you start, you get like a buddy. So you get like, it'll be me next year. Do you know what I mean? You get someone who's been on the grad scheme for like a year to look after you and just help you out with a few questions that maybe like you might not want to ask me, so you might not want to ask your manager. So like you get like a buddy to help you out with that. So like my buddy, like he took me to a site visit as well. So he was like, yeah, like come and have a look around, see what we've got going on. So So it's like there's three different ways, like sort it out yourself, looking on the internet, and also like your buddy will probably invite you to one as well. If that's
Yeah.
for me in my role, like if you're not really on, your buddy will be doing something similar to you.
Yeah, we'll
So
try and match you up with someone as close as possible where we can.
yeah, so say like mine will be on site because be doing the same job as me. So that's like what sorted mine out. But maybe if you're going into a different role, your buddy would show you like from their side as well what was like what was going on if you're in a HR or something, like your buddy would show you that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph, this is going off piece slightly, but again, thinking of the audience that are listening now, what advice would you give to them, in terms of, joining Mace? And, you mentioned then, obviously, I don't want to know the questions that you're asking your buddy, but, those kind of like, what were your worries? What were your concerns?
So like say for me, it was even little things, as like I had to move down here. So I moved down here with a few of my boys, and we were like, right, let's get a house. And I was thinking, right, I don't know how big a bedroom I need. Do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking if I'm working from home, I'm going to need like a desk and I'm going to need a nice space, but I'll have to pay more for that. So then I messaged my buddy and I was just saying, yeah, mate, am I going to be on site? Or he was like, yeah, you'll be on site all the time. So 40 hours, and I'll just pay a bit less, not have the big, massive rooms. I don't need the space. So it can even just be little things like that where
that's really
you know,
good.
because you think like, yeah, you don't really want to like worry, or not worry, but like they like the recruitment team are trying to deal with other stuff. It might probably chock-a-block in like August. Like, so that's just a little question what you put, like just that sort of stuff I was asking. Do you know what I mean?
That's really good.
I think there's we have a lot of people relocate, so it's something that we are working on, is kind of like a relocation guide. So just kind of, because if you're not from London, or even if you live slightly outside of London and you're not familiar with it, it's just nice to kind of know like what connects to what. And also having your buddies, it almost to be like, oh, someone I know is moving out, do you want to take this room? That kind of thing, like things like that, little network that you can create with each other. And we know that a lot of people relocate and having that expectation, whereas I know there are some people who probably could work from home but go into the office every day, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, really good point there. So well done. Again, I think sometimes externally, for me and you, Carla, you're not sure what your concerns might be. That was just like a perfect little snippet that we'll probably use, and I'll use as a little anecdote.
Yeah, just little ones in it. Just that's what I mean.
Yeah, that you get again, you might not think of. How do you find living in London? Do you love it?
Yeah, I love it. So much going on.
Yeah,
I'm from Liverpool as well. I went to uni.
You're not, are you?
Like both busy cities, but then you just come here and I go home now and I'm like, it's so slow, like everything's moving. You know what I mean? Like the train takes like 10 minutes to come and I'm thinking, what am I doing now? What a waste of time this is. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, really good. Thanks, Joseph. I love that. Definitely I'll use your advice, and I'll again be saying that to students when I'm speaking to them. So really good. Thanks for that. Bhavisha, going to come back to you. Projects, are you same in terms of how your graduate scheme is going to look? Can you pick your projects? What's it look like for you?
I think the graduate scheme itself is pretty standard across the different ones. We do like a grad project starting in January, I think, which is like with all grads around the world. So I think we'll get to meet people across like Mace in different countries as well. But that's not started yet, but I've spoken to the other people in the year above about that. So that's quite exciting. But then projects, there's a little bit of, you can choose it, not so much. So we've all been allocated, but I think there's just like a lot of difference over like the different types of projects. So because I was 100% allocated when I started, I wanted that little bit of diversity. So I spoke to my line manager and I said, like, listen, I want something a little bit different. So she sorted me out, put me on a Microsoft project. So basically they're doing like an interior fit out in their office in Reading, and basically just working with them to basically just meet Microsoft's requirements when it comes to their sustainability, the wellness in the office, like how it's all going to work. But that's just started. But yeah, no, it's really cool. And then, through responsible business, I think we've got quite a different type of team compared to a lot of the others, as in we do a lot of sharing between different projects. So similar to Joseph being on site visits and things, but yeah, we do a lot of like knowledge nuggets, things like that, share that information between each other about what we're all doing. So one really cool sustainable project that they're doing at the moment is actually like next door to our office. So they're doing a lot of like steel reuse, which is quite new to the industry. And then a lot of social value there as well. So there's just like loads of really cool projects, and you can find out a lot about them and speak to different people about getting on it, getting experience on, even if you're not actually like doing work for it, but you can find out a lot, which is really cool.
Yeah, really, really good. And then in terms of when you come off the program, again, I know this is super early, you've got just over a year before I think about that, but then how does that transition work? And Natalie, I'll probably come back to you a little bit for you as well on this, but how does that work, and how do you decide where you ultimately end up at Mace after the grad program? Do you know?
I can.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm the best
Sorry,
way to
No. So
questions just come to my mind.
the way it works is we kind of, so our grad program, everyone does the same grad program. So it's not like you've got a commercial management program, you've got a project management program, you've got a sustainability program. Everyone does the same program. So a lot of the time people get confused. They're like, oh, I'm on the cost consultancy program. It's like, no, everyone does the same program. Everyone does the same. But you're essentially, again, like we don't really do rotations in Mace. So, you know, you might do like 6 months here, 6 months there. That's not really how our program works. It might change in the future, but I think you're hired into the role, and as soon as you sign your contract, you're a permanent employee. So you kind of move your way like through the ranks. So you're assistant manager, manager. You might find that once you've done the development program, you think, I think I am ready to try something new.
Right.
I think, oh, I'm in central government, I want to go and move to local government, or I want to go and move to the private sector. If there's an opportunity available, we have an internal, it's called the Global Mobility Portal. That's also for going abroad and stuff like that. But if an opportunity becomes available, then you can just say like, oh, I am interested, have you got anything coming up, that kind of thing. Sometimes we will email as well and just say, this business have reached out to us, they've got an opportunity here. Like that happened recently, we had a role become available in Iceland, so we just sent an email out and just said, oh, it's in this area, it's in Iceland, does anyone want to go for it? And then they kind of like meet with the business lead, have a kind of conversation. If they want to take it, then they can, but it's up to them. Like there's a lot of things to kind of think about. So there are just some times where opportunities like that will appear. It's not very often, but sometimes you get that immediate need, and everyone's really curious, they always want to try something new. So that is always something that is kind of available. So if someone did want to kind of maybe, if you've, a lot of the time, sometimes I think with the responsibility grads, they might be working mainly in like the construct projects. So if you wanted to try something in the consultancy space, you could say, could I try this instead?
So yeah, that's good. And goes back to like what you did then, Pavisha. You say, I just want a little bit of variety, show me something else. That's really, really good. Okay, I get it now. So sorry guys, talking on about rotation, but what's going on about? So in terms of I'm gonna say about life after, wasn't I?
Yeah, life after graduate
That was the
program.
question. Life after graduate program. So Pavisha, can you answer that yet then, or not really? Because obviously you've got that passion for sustainability, you're wanting to experience new stuff. Can you imagine where life will go after the grad program?
I'm not actually sure yet, because obviously it's quite new.
Not sure.
I think right now I'm just very focused on getting experience. I know that I probably do want to move on to maybe a construct project at some point along the grad scheme, but I think right now it's just kind of getting that experience, trying to throw myself into the projects, and then afterwards see where that takes me with my engineering background. I don't know if maybe I'll try and move into something else, just seeing where it goes for now, and just getting that experience, getting those like working in like a corporate world, getting used to that, speaking properly, writing emails, things like that. It's big change.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Pavisha. I'm going to come to you, Natalie, with the question about your future plans, because it's probably makes more sense to ask you this question. But yeah, what's the future looking like for you at Mace, and where can you imagine your career taking you?
I think I'm still like Pavisha, just staying open-minded, saying yes to different opportunities. So this time last year, I was only on one project, and then I was like, oh, it'd be nice to get some diversity, get an experience with the different projects. So yeah, and I'm now leading my own project. But for the future, definitely getting chartered. So I'm working towards my chartership in project management. to work abroad, that's definitely on my list. I think a lot of people have that aspiration. So, I mean, Mace, yeah, it is a global company, so there are so many opportunities to be able to relocate. So I think, yeah, that's quite appealing to a lot of young people, especially. And then I'd say just getting more experience with different size projects. So at the moment, my project's £20 million, which I think is relatively like a middle size project. So I know our sector, we've been bidding for quite a lot of big work with so I'm in the central government or government department sector. So a few big new projects are coming through. So yeah, just having experience with a bigger project or program be helpful.
I think that definitely is just a common theme throughout this webinar, isn't it? It's, you know, ask, keep an open mind, you know, and just get involved in as much as you can. So really, really good point, Natalie. Thank you so much. Joy, I'm going to come to you with a slightly different question, if that's okay. So what has your training development been so far at Mace? And, you know, what kind of training courses or projects have you been working on?
So in terms of training, throughout these past months, we've had a range of development sessions. So we've had self-management, commercial awareness. Yesterday, even I was actually in London for a training session that was in person as well, because most of them are online. And then also in the office, sometimes we have staff from external companies come in, and like during lunch, they'll come and talk to us about their roles. So like for example, we had someone they work in ecology, and they were explaining to us the links between ecology and the construction industry. We had someone from English Heritage. So there are a lot of training opportunities and training sessions. That's just part of the program already.
Yeah, really, really good. And it's good that you are getting involved in those in your own time as well. Joseph, going to come back to you on training and development. You've touched a bit upon obviously wanting to become chartered in the future, but have you had any additional training that's been really worthwhile and something you really enjoyed?
Yeah, so it's like role specific. So say like for me, I've been doing like first aid courses, fire warden course, for my role, because like so on site, like I'm a fire marshal, I'm a first aider, I'm a work at height coordinator, that sort of thing. So you do that training as well, which is separate, but that is just like specific to what you do. Or as well, like for me, I said I don't mind being a first aider. Like I've been a first aider before, and like I know what I'm doing. I don't mind being a fire marshal. So like that's relevant. And it also because we're in pre-construction, like it's only me and another construction manager. It's like it makes sense for me to do all my training now like that. So when the project starts, it's like, okay, he's there. Like I'm on all the documents just as the registered person for these, like the registered first aider, all them documents I'm on. But so that training is there, but that's like very, very role specific. That's very, very role specific. Whereas, so I've done that sort of training. So you do that as well as like chartership and the standard Mace stuff. But that is like you can sort of choose what you want to do. So like you can choose. So like me friend, me other graduate who's a QS quantity surveyor, he went to do some Excel courses, you know, because he wanted. Yeah, so like he wanted to do Excel, so he went and did some Excel courses. So you can like choose what skills you want to gain, and then there's loads and loads of training. Such a big company and they do so much. You can be training like pretty much anything. So you can pretty much just choose what you want to do, speak to your manager, get that sorted, and yeah.
Yeah. And I guess you've got the chance then to do that, you know, whilst you work, if it's more relevant to your project and what you're working on, and then in your personal time as well. Like a bit like you, Joy, you've got access to say stuff over your lunchtime and stuff you can do in your free time as well, which is really, really great. Bhavisha and Natalie, I'm going to come to you with kind of moving away from your day jobs. What else have you been up to so far at Mace? So Bhavisha, I'm going to come to you first with that one.
So one of the things is like volunteering days. So Mace gives us volunteering days. So and you don't have to take annual leave or anything for that. So I did one of them where we basically, me and my team went out to like a forest, I think in Uxbridge or something, and then cut down like all the invasive plants, built up like kind of cots around the like more protected ones to just improve that biodiversity. And then outside of that, I think it's just quite a very social work environment. So
Yeah.
yeah, I made loads of friends and stuff, which is really helpful with the adjustment, like moving to London, moving into working life. So it's kind of nice to have that like grad network. They do like networking sessions and things for us, which is good.
That's
But yeah,
nice.
just a whole range of things.
Yeah. And how did you find the moving to London?
Ups and downs. I
course.
moved down from Newcastle, so it was a bit of a change, but
Yeah.
quite like the independence. I think because I was at uni, so then I moved down again. But yeah, it's been good actually. London's new, it's different, but it's fun.
Yeah, good stuff. And Natalie, same kind of question. What kind of extracurricular activities have you been up to?
Yeah, so I did geography at university, so sustainability is a big passion of mine. And even though we have people from responsible business working in our sector, I find that sometimes there's a bit of a mismatch between the project managers working on the projects and people from responsible business. So I'm part of a group that are just trying to embed responsible business more into our sector because some of the projects, they're quite small office refurbishments, so there's not always a massive opportunity for carbon savings, but it's just about raising awareness that there's so many other things that you can do, like the social value part, biodiversity. So yeah, just raising awareness with the whole team. And then yeah, like Pavita says, it's a massive grad scheme, a massive apprenticeship scheme. So yeah, there's plenty of people to make friends with, or to network with.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Fantastic. Good stuff. Carla, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you very much, Jess. Thanks, everybody. So now we're going to talk about the recruitment process. And Kira, I'm coming to you. So mentioned at the beginning of the webinar that all the information about Mace and the opportunities are on the hub on Gradcracker. And so thoroughly read the job description, click on apply. And then Kira, what happens next?
So as soon as you've got that, so just like one thing to note, like don't need to worry about CV. We don't take CVs, so don't sit there worrying about it. Don't sit there thinking you have to make one for us. You don't. We took them at one point. We didn't even look at them because we're just trying to, again, like diversify the business. So that's not something that anyone has to worry about. There are 3 questions, 2 of which are mandatory, 1 is optional. So my biggest thing when I look at applications is 1, make sure you're applying to the right company. Make sure you're talking about the correct role. You'd be surprised. And also just like make sure you're actually answering the question. So the questions are very generic. It's a case of like, why do you want to work at Mace, and like what's your understanding of the role? I wouldn't really say that's like the point where you're going to talk about like your work experience. That's not really what we're looking for at that point. We have a video interview, which is the next stage. So should you be successful from your application, then you'll be invited to do a one-way video interview online. So they're just 5 questions. The easiest way, the best bit of advice I have for them is understand our values and behaviours, because that's really what we're looking to be exhibited in those questions.
There, everyone. It's
amazing.
So you get 5 questions, you have 2 minutes to answer them, and you get 40 seconds to think of your answer. Use the 40 seconds to think of your answer. Write your notes down. I mean, if you've made a few scribbles, don't be like reading off your paper when you're answering your questions. Like, you're not talking to someone, but it's nice to maybe like just think that you are. If it's easier, maybe just have it recording, and maybe just like, if you're doing it on a laptop, maybe just like move your face out of the way if it's awkward for you to like stare at yourself whilst you're recording. We know that can happen. Or maybe just like, even if you maybe just had someone opposite you just listening to your answer kind of thing, if it feels more comfortable talking to someone. And then from there, you will then be invited to a virtual assessment centre. So all of our assessment centres are online. And there are 3 exercises. 1, you start off with a group exercise, and then you'll have an individual interview, and then you'll do an individual presentation. And then from then you will either be accepted onto our programme or not. And then once you've got that, you'll then be assigned a buddy and line manager. And then you'll probably get an annoying amount of emails from me from then on.
Save Kira's name to your emails. So any hints and tips during the virtual assessment then? So you mentioned it's a couple of different stages. What do you look out for? Is there an ideal candidate? What kind of personalities or personality traits do you look out for as part of the process?
So we kind of throw them in the deep end during a group exercise first, because you're kind of forced to interact with each other. But the key to that exercise is being involved and talking during the group exercise, but one, not talking for the sake of it, but then also being a good leader. If you're going to be the one that's leading that group, are you leading in the best way, kind of thing? So are you bringing people in? What's your opinion on this? What's your thought on this? Or are you saying, no, we're not going to do that, we're not doing that? What kind of leader are you being? Are you being inclusive, or are you just thinking my way or no way? That's probably not what we're looking for. And then you've got your individual interview. So we understand that not a lot of people have work experience, and it's fine if you have the same scenario. Maybe just think about how you can use it in different ways and talk about yourself. This is the point where you need to big yourself up. Like if you don't do it, no one will in this case. So it's not a case of like, oh, I would do this, and you know, like if that came up, I would do that. What did you do? What have you done? How did you do it? What was the end goal? That kind of thing. That's really what we're looking for during that interview stage. And then there's an individual presentation. You're given a bit of data and some time to prepare. Read the brief and make sure you're ticking everything that is asking you to do, because the worst thing is when you get into your presentation and you just get lost halfway through your presentation, the assessor's thinking, I'm not actually sure what they're telling me here, not really sure where we're going. So make sure you have got an outcome. We understand, like, we know you've not got a huge amount of time, but it's how you manage a high pressure situation and how you respond to that. So it's not cutthroat or anything like that. We're quite nice on our assessment centres.
Oh, I bet you are. And are you allowed to take notes and things like that? To
100%. Like,
presentation?
it's all done on a virtual platform, so we'll give you access on the day. You're more than welcome to take notes, but we just ask that they dispose of it. I mean, obviously, please do take notes. That's probably how you're going to get the best result. But don't feel like you can't. Even when we're reading the briefs out, if you want to take notes whilst we're reading the briefs out, you're more than welcome to do so. Even during the briefing presentation, when I go through about Mace, who we are, some of our projects, even if you want to make notes on that, you're probably better off taking notes than not, to be completely honest.
Yeah, definitely. And one last question, I hope it's not a silly one, but because all of your assessments are virtual, would you expect a student to be smartly dressed? Does it really matter?
So,
what are the expectations there?
We're not massively fussy, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think sometimes some people in the business can be a bit like, oh, they're not wearing a suit and tie, but no one really in our business wears a suit and tie when they're sat at home. So I don't expect it. I would just say no hoodies, that kind of thing. Like, have a little, maybe just like a jumper, a sweatshirt, but not really a hoodie or anything, nothing too casual. But don't feel like you have to sit there in a suit and tie if that's what you're most comfortable in, because obviously some people feel supported in different ways and empowered in different ways. So if you think, no, I want to be dressed in a suit, go for it, like whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. They are all online, but you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, tablet. We've had people join our assessment centres in Australia, that kind of thing. So that's the best thing about them being virtual. You might not be in the country, but you can still have an opportunity to get a job with us. And I think that is the best part. We understand that like tech might have issues. So if you have internet issues, we'll just get you right back in. We'll take it into consideration. Again, like to think we are quite nice on these assessment centres. We're not trying to be horrible or give anyone a bad experience. Like, we do get like really good feedback from them. So. And I'm sure all of these, well, everyone's here, so.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's smiling. And timescales, if a student is successful and going through the different stages, first question is, when did they start? I've mentioned the closing date, 31st of December. So do the assessments start after that date? And
so we've already started our assessment centres.
Perfect.
Because I know, so the way we do it on a rolling basis. So as soon as we get enough applications, we will invite them to a video interview. As soon as we get enough good video interviews, we're holding an assessment centre. That's pretty much how it's working. So from January onwards, there'll probably be about 3 a week. Last year we held 50. So from next year onwards is when we're kind of really gearing up. We have got a few of the roles have closed now, so it's more like the ones you mentioned earlier, Carla, like the building surveying ones. They're the ones that are really left. So please just make sure you're reading the required degree some of them have got required degrees, so just make sure you're reading that, because otherwise you're just not going to make it through. So it can be challenging. It is just me doing the graduate and the placements, so there's no automation, it's all quite manual. So manual screening, last year we got over 8,000 applications, all manually screened. All the video interviews are manually screened by me, so there might be some slight delays on the time frames, but we'll just email us and we'll tell you like what the realistic time frame is. And there are a few people waiting to be booked into an assessment centre, so we're just coordinating diaries. There's 7,000 people in this business, and we've got to coordinate diaries with different people across the country, that kind of thing. So just trying to match up when people are all available to take time away from their projects, that kind of thing can be a bit tricky. So that does also take some time. Yeah,
it's so lovely that you've got the personal touch there, Kieran. You're going to be, reviewing every single application that comes through Gradcracker. So that's amazing.
Yeah, you kind of get one person from start to finish. So seeing the application, watching the video interview, doing your assessment centre, providing your outcome, doing your contract, being your kind of like main person to liaise with during the whole process.
That really comes across there, because even the grads and you, Joy, hear that you've built up that relationship with everybody, and you can see that, you're really willing them on to do well through the process as well. So thank you very much, Kira. I'm going to finish off. I know it's 3 o'clock, but it's my favourite round of webinar, so I'm going to continue. So top fact about Mace, and Joseph, tell me about your top fact.
Yeah, so my one was that the Shard was like one of the first ever top-down constructions. So it was built, when they were building it, they started at the bottom and at the top and built both ways and met in the middle. That was like, it was one of the first times it had been done. Actually, do you know a fact about that? So that was actually suggested by a graduate.
So was it?
By a graduate, yeah. So like the architects like claimed it was them, but it was actually, we got the talk by some guy. He said that idea was like suggested by a graduate. So that's a good one for you, isn't it? I never thought I'd use that fact again, but there you go.
Well, there you go. I love that fact. I've never heard of that before. And the graduate as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Joseph. And Bavisha, what's your fact?
That we don't only focus on our carbon footprint, but our carbon handprint as well. And we're encouraging our clients to meet their goals and strive for like the best that they can do.
Yeah, lovely. Kira touched on that as well, didn't you, Kira, earlier on in the webinar? So thank you very much. Natalie?
I would just say how influential Mace has been on London skyline. I think my friends and family, whenever they come down to London, they're so sick of me being like, oh my God, Mace worked on the Shard, or we worked on Battersea Power Stations. Yeah, it's just really cool walking past Mace projects.
Yeah, people are like, I did that. Thanks, Natalie. Enjoy.
That we have locations globally, so in Europe, in Asia, North Africa, Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, North America. So there's opportunities everywhere.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been brilliant. Like me and Kira mentioned at the beginning and towards the end of the webinar, applications are closing on the 31st of December. So go to the Mace Hub now and get your applications in. Good luck. And remember that you'll be meeting Kira, so she's giving you some amazing hints and tips through the webinar as well. Me and Jess will be back next Thursday, the last webinar of the year. Can you believe it's nearly Christmas? Where we're joined by financial consultancy firm Hymans Robertson. So we hope to see you again. Good luck with your applications, and thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.